Yeah,
So
I
I've
know.
not heard if they're going to change that time. Wendy, is that the reorg meeting time being changed from 7:30 to 6, or
All of them.
all?
I'll even now. Okay.
Yeah, all the
I mean, that's our plan,
Okay,
but
tonight
tonight we're gonna vote on
we're
that
supposed to talk about
at
Yeah.
the meeting.
And you're good with 6 p.m. then?
Yeah, I'm fine. I would prefer 6.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
Alright, we'll fail with this.
I'm trying to get the dates changed on our VRBO, if it's available.
Whereabouts you going in Florida?
Secret.
Welcome to the Comcast
Where is that?
Voice
Gulf
Text
side?
Conferencing
South
Center.
Central.
Please
Oh,
enter
okay.
the conference
It's
ID
on near Tampa.
followed by the pound
It's
key.
not far.
Oh,
Lake,
near-
Lake Placid.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my son lived down in Pembroke Pines
Please
for
try
about 10
again.
years.
Please enter the
But
conference
that's
ID
between
followed by the
Miami
pound
and
key.
Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
He lived right near the Everglades. You know, it was nice because it was kind of away from the hustle and bustle. And
That Miami Fort Lauderdale area is nuts.
yes, it is. Unless, like I said, unless you get someplace like he was actually half a mile from the Everglades.
Wow.
So
Who's calling for your phone again?
We're only gonna take 20 minutes to get this one.
We're just getting warmed up.
Welcome to the Comcast Business Voice Text Conferencing Center. Please enter the conference ID followed by the pound key.
now I saw a road the other day, Barlow's Two Tavern Road or something.
That's right, don't be picking on that, that's my drinking area.
I was thinking that's gotta be your ancestor somewhere down the road.
It's the place where they drink.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, you're ready for the snow.
You can go ahead. I parked in front of the plow now. We're gonna need where the meeting's over.
I hope not.
Okay.
Could be a mess.
Maybe done.
Yeah, if you're a Steelers fan, they pulled that one out the other day.
Did they ever?
No, they didn't call it out, the Ravens screwed up.
Well, that's true.
A win's a win, even if you run out of gas.
That's
Exactly right.
I
Yeah,
don't know if that was a bad pass or a drop pass.
It was a bad pass.
I think it was a bad pass.
It
I
was.
know that he gets a little more rattled when, when the
Game's
game's
on the
on the
line.
line.
Jackson.
Yeah, but he's
Yeah.
a damn good quarterback.
Oh no, he's a great quarterback.
I don't know why he didn't go for the field goal.
Well, the extra point, yeah.
Just
Tie
tie
it
it
up.
up and go,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he figured their chances of completing a 2-yard gain, I think, are pretty good.
Oh yeah.
They've been doing it all day.
Well, you have better chances of making one. I don't know. My son said, "You think they'll go for 2?" I said, "No, I think they'll just go for 1." Basically,
I
go
am
for 2.
sure.
They made it look easy too.
Yeah, yeah. I was surprised how quickly they got down the field.
They were,
That
pushing,
penalty put them down to the 40-yard line.
Yeah.
You know.
they were pushing the Steelers all over the place. All that.
Steelers had a good ground game going there.
Yes, they did.
They were playing good football.
Yeah, they were running right up the gut, and they were getting a lot of good plays.
They sure were. Steelers did look pretty good. But there's so many chancy luck things in these games anymore with the refs calls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes it exciting,
There were about 2 missed calls there that the refs did not.
at least.
That should have been. But
I'm surprised the refs can see as much as they actually do.
The calls that bother me the most are the holding calls, because I think you could call holding just about on every
Any play you want.
Yeah. You know, I could see the guy throw someone to the ground, but sometimes they call some ticky-tack holding calls.
One minute. No, it
was
doesn't.
that for me?
That'll be right.
What's that, a hint?
No, that's her.
No, yeah, we just let it know that we didn't give that to everyone, so.
Oh,
We said
that-
that ethic is just
those copies for them, for Brandon, Jessica.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Well, let's call this meeting to order. Wendy, can we, we'll do, what's the pledge? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mr. Barlow,
Here.
Mr. Jackson,
Here.
Mr. Keibel,
Here.
Okay. Before we go into our public comments or anything, we're gonna recess for about a 15-minute executive session to discuss a couple of employee matters that we need to talk about in an executive session. So we're adjourn the meeting for now and go into executive session. Okay, folks?
Where is it?
you're gonna do it in my honor.
I was like, where are you gonna tell me that before I sit down?
There's 3 chairs in there, you need another chair, or you're gonna stand.
I'll stand.
This, did we deliver this?
Yes, okay, that's just what I.
Alright, I was like, wait, there's no check, so I just wanted to make sure. And then this one, did you check it, or are you still needing to verify if it came through? Cause it wasn't when remember I told you that it didn't come through whenever I got the
That's
file?
because we have to run, I just sending it to look. You give this back to me, so you know. Put the stamp on, you can't put it back in my box, like this and you know,
Okay.
and I know all that after I work. How's that sound?
That's fine. I was trying to figure out, I'm like, I can't look.
Right, so you just put it in the envelope with that sticker on it.
Okay.
And give it back.
Alright.
What? I thought you had access. Wink, wink.
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing on this
Well,
hearing?
we do, because we gotta do this, when we have that feeling, so.
Yeah, we'll be together. So do you have more things to enter still?
Like maybe 8 of them?
I reformatted and whatever. Choose something in there. And we might be able to pull this stuff in zombies.
We still have to do labels.
Or do you want to do labels that can be reformatted?
Okay.
So, I'll just take 4 computer letters a little bit. Yeah, so you're not gonna line when you choose the word folder. And then you just fold it on the line.
Okay.
Okay, so those 2 things will come through in there.
That works.
Right. And also I have the address, because the address wasn't, when we had the name.
Like the property address?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just forgot to, because someone would want to like, wherever, whoever, and it doesn't have to literally spell it, in that case, it's not the same.
I guess they were, I was trying to think about people who were like new owners, cause I've gotten a couple of things like tax.
The only thing that you're gonna have to do is check the addresses, cause that, you're not updating your addresses when you get the update from the tax.
No, because I had the old list, you have the new list, you have the 2021 one, but we'll
I
check it
remember
out
using
2020.
wouldn't even use it.
Yeah, because we had to keep track.
Do your tax, do your tax list is updated. Is there a way to print out just a list of addresses?
Got anything? I do
Report,
assessment
because
reports.
if they would just do it.
I did do an
outside.
assessment report, and I can go through.
Yeah, we can, yeah, we can use it. I don't know, or we can try just use the 2021.
So I just did a bunch that I got like second notices back, but there were a lot of properties that didn't have any dwellings on them, so.
It doesn't matter, whatever, because the other one I won't be doing the percentages, because 2020, this hasn't been edited, it only has everyone. So I didn't need to look at everyone anyway.
No, I should get, so I'll do like an assessment report whenever I do change stuff in the database to get it authorized by county. So I have that list of names, but
No, I
most
want a
times
complete list of names of everybody currently who lives here.
we won't have that, no, because it depends on when the tax, when it changed. Sometimes they change it, sometimes I have to change it, just depends on
So-
when the sale was.
But in your database, you have a list of everybody. So if they paid or didn't pay, they're in there. So everyone, that's what I'm looking for. And maybe I'll ask Kim or something if they take down a list from there to show, they just name and address. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll run it against. Oh, and then I'll look at it like, and we'll run our own name and address. Or if we send them out and when they come back, we can just look them up. It's up to you. We can do that too.
Hi, Brandon.
Because they'll come back.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Here.
I hear ya.
Yeah, just do that way. And that way, because they usually 10,
Yeah,
and
it's
I
not
was
hard.
like, 900. I put them on your seat.
Thank you.
Oh, you got it. We'll do that.
I got them, but I didn't get the car.
So, once you enter this, and then form letters I'll look at the form letters first because some of them have 2 or 3 lines, and once they have another line, it bumps it down too far here on the rest.
You did
I'll
this
just
one.
add it back.
I heard.
If it adds another one, it's gonna bump it down. But if you want to do your merge.
Oh, yeah, you gonna get
And
it
if you want to
on?
have 4 lines, I'll fix them.
I sat out there and I was always trying to wait today.
He comes by Mickey's house too.
No,
Yeah.
I was out there home.
I don't think it's probably.
And Heard him, he comes all the way down track road, you can hear him coming, and then he come back, Sanders right there too. I was like,
Somebody got his license.
Did you give me that whole box?
They sold the
That was
clothes.
roll.
Yeah.
Because I think it took out today to do.
It's a newer Cadillac too.
If we
I
don't,
think the one,
I'm gonna be here
the one
in 2
that
days
gave
and
me
we'll
was
just
on
stop
the
and
this
week.
2012.
4-door,
Yeah.
black, I
Yeah.
think, yeah.
Yeah,
And,
so,
Had a, I'm gonna
Just
say,
check through the ones where I
garage
said.
probably late
Yeah.
20s to late 30s, somewhere in that range, one guy, that's who was in it.
so we'll see. I sat out there 2 hours tonight on the tractor, waiting for him, and of course.
He usually does it right at dawn.
Well,
Like
then,
it's
I
around
get a
4
call.
o'clock to 5 o'clock.
Right, he was a little late today, cause I just got the call. I just got the call, it was like 25 after or whatever.
Wow.
Please don't know
He
when
was
it's
coming by the 2600 block, which is up there around.
You need to contact your home.
Boston lives.
Yeah,
And, I thought, man, I'm gonna cut down as fast as
well,
I
Aaron
can
got
go.
this call today.
And cut down to,
I was on, I was like, I need to.
Someone called me today. Oh, that's when I need to ask you.
Yeah.
down the track and see if I can get down there in time to cut it off, but he's gone.
you don't mess around.
Of course, by the time the lady called 911,
Oh.
and then they dispatched it to me, you know, it was, however long it's gone by, so.
Yeah,
I don't know what time.
yeah,
I'll get it out for her and,
because when he was doing that,
Yeah, what you want.
he went like that once last week, he did that, when I was out hunting Mickey's. And it was like,
December for.
he would almost, like, it seemed like he come to a stop, and then he'd almost flat foot, and then, wah, 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 but then it would stop, and get quiet, and then it would get real loud again, and then it'd get quiet. And when he actually come by on Saturday,
You know that guy?
I was standing at Mickey's barn, and he come by,
Come on, okay, I'll
and
send them that. Just.
you can't, I mean, it stinks, and everything, like, any light bulbs all fell
Here's 4
off.
letters.
Right.
He took it off as a one.
She updated.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and he's like,
Yeah.
oh, my, it just rusted and fell off, you know, he likes how it sounds, and that's how he drives.
I'm gonna get him.
Nothing requires any,
I guarantee I'm getting him.
put her on anything.
Oh, yeah.
I'm planning to get him
Just see if she
before,
likes it.
before Friday.
Well,
On
or-
Friday. I'm getting him before Friday. Not I'm coming to work on Friday.
Yeah,
She's
mine was the
fine,
same.
and she's getting paid so little.
But the first night I heard it, he had to been
It's,
3 miles away from the sound of it.
Well, that's what she lives like a mile away from Crum and Tract.
She's not getting.
And she said, oh, you can hear him from her house.
Oh, yeah.
All those things I need
Yeah,
to
when I heard him, it took him a good 20 minutes, 15 minutes to get from where I heard him to down here on Sanders. So, I mean, he was a good ways
It's
away.
kind of like higher on the temp.
It's like, oh,
And
smooth.
she'll do all the heavy stuff, and she'll do all the filing. There's complex things that, you know,
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's a decent jump car.
No.
This won't be something.
It's a decent,
Yeah.
should be decent vehicle.
Because it's a long time maintenance of that. Too many people in that aisle.
It's the same one, it is a little bit wider. It's got like,
Someone deleted half of
the
it.
odometer on it, because they'll,
That's why I'm
when I run it through Jason, it'll tell me the odometer reading on it.
That would be.
Last time, and it said 105,000 miles on it already. So,
It's gotta be a
So,
2010.
that's why I said.
Around that
yeah,
area.
that's what I said, it was like, I think it said it was a 2012.
Yeah, but
So,
she'll
yeah.
come in that week, and then after that, if it works out, she wants to do it, she's.
We'll see.
You know it's coming.
No, he doesn't.
That's another part-time, and she could do a job, she
There's,
only works in the school.
my friend was supposed to go in the car, he can have 5 days to get that fixed.
Yeah.
And then
Doesn't, somebody else will cite him every day after that.
Cause it, I mean, it's worse than getting on a Honda that has one of the big mufflers.
Right,
It always
yeah.
smells burn a little, like, it is really bad coming out of that place.
She already talked to school first. But we're not gonna make her teacher schedule.
Cause when I see him Saturday night, it was right around 4 o'clock. He was
Right.
coming from Ski Liberty headed towards track day.
Okay.
That's what they were saying.
I wonder if he must work in
She's used to
because he gives from there,
She's
the way down
used to
track to
that
Orchard.
She knows
Orchard.
Yeah.
how to do
It goes
it.
out to 16.
People get.
I'm pretty sure that PA plates.
It's it does.
She won't take it.
If it's the same one, it's us.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, 'cause it did have a license plate before.
Yeah, no, it comes back to some guy over in Carroll Valley. I don't know, it's my department.
Also, she's used to working.
She looked in from time to time.
And you know, they have to.
Imagine that.
Alright, well, I'm gonna be dealing with him soon. I said, you got any complaints about me giving you?
Calls.
Why didn't you do anything?
Huh?
So why you need to do anything
But
about it?
he didn't, it's like kinda like me, when you get that complaint about it, it's just like a Cadillac with one of them.
Yeah.
That might be a little frightening.
You know,
One person have to deal with.
So,
Why is this person so angry?
Get the hat off. I'm telling you.
hey, you
I
can
know,
know.
you just started a new job. I think she'll be fine, if she wants to do it, but is there anything that happened, this is a choice of what she's got. I didn't know that. I did not know that. That's what she's doing now, but she's used to getting paid a lot more because she did actual work and or somewhere else in insurance. So she's just, you know, trying to make some daily not pay a part-time job, but it's too much time. She was like, oh, we're even looking for you. Cause she's the worst, she's just like, you know, she's not serious, which is.
So should I, am I
Oh,
sure?
sure,
Yes.
yes, no.
Okay.
I don't want to do it.
I'll just give her some sort of here now. This is really just a temporary thing, I'll tell you, a used laptop or something for her, either her ID and stuff. She's not gonna touch her stuff. No, that's your tax collector stuff, I don't know what her own is. No, I might just move the phone over because I don't install new, I don't, or if I can see if I can transfer loans to that, but I don't know about that.
so, yeah, so I worked on this today, so that should be fine, should be able to bust it out pretty good. I don't know, what else are we going to make? Create more work for us. You got all the stuff outside, mostly, so, bills?
Yeah, that was ready to go. I mean, I didn't put them in the mail because it was 4 o'clock and I already went, so I'll put them in one.
Yeah, is there any particular horrible thing that you're doing right now that you don't want to do? I don't want to give her Nikki's, things. I know we love doing them. I don't want to give her.
Really? Sure that. The dictation. She loves doing dictation for Nikki.
3 hours later.
3 hours later. Did the Emmitsburg Journal come out yet?
I don't know.
I would think it did. There's one right there, is that it? I'm gonna go look.
He always puts it there, but, they're back. Welcome back.
Where's it at?
Underneath the mailboxes.
Okay.
Good, Amy.
Hello, Bob.
How are you doing?
I'm doing. How are you?
Fine. You're all dressed up.
Is he stressed up?
It's winter.
No. I'll get him.
Sponge tricks.
I'll get him.
That's what it is. Okay. So we adjourn the meeting at 7:50, 7:47. Okay, like I said, we had a short executive session to discuss some personnel matters we needed to attend to tonight, and thanks for your patience. So we'll get back to our regular meeting. So if you are joining us tonight on our conference line number is 832-831-2424 with the conference ID number of 280672. This moderator pen, do they need to have that too?
No, that's yours. You shouldn't even have it on there, sorry.
So, anyhow, we have public comment section. Do we have any public comment?
Anybody with us would like to make a comment tonight?
And takers on the thing, anybody on the floor want public comment? We have 3 public people here and public comment, okay. Supervisor's comment.
I don't have anything.
Anything from Bobby? Okay. Bob?
I had a couple that are on the agenda later.
Okay.
I can do them now and get them out of the way.
That's totally up to you.
Okay, well, I will. I've been asked to look into the home for the aged donation.
Oh, yeah.
And that seems, I interviewed the gal over the telephone. She just not around during the holidays to be able to talk to me. So I talked to Vicky Huffaker, and she didn't seem to be very enthusiastic about our donation. So that sort of led me to be not very enthusiastic about our donation. And she said one of her alternatives, she said, probably be better if we donated to the Fairfield Senior Citizen Center rather than to the Adams County Senior Citizen Center. And she said that was all handled through a lady called Cheryl Kurtowski, who works at the fire department.
Yes.
I tried her, do you know her?
I don't know her personally, I know her name.
I call her, I can't reach her, she's apparently taken off. So the lack of enthusiasm on their part sort of dampens my enthusiasm for recommending it, and I recommend that we do not.
Okay.
We haven't donated, they said they provided $14,000 in services over a 10-year period. I wanted to get some details. Who did they help and how? And of course, she divulged any names. I said, well, just give me some numbers, I don't want to give you the names. And I said, it would be helpful if you could send me one of your tax forms, your, tax exempt organization, send me your 990 form so we can see how the money is spent. And she didn't think that. She just said, well, all the money that we collect goes to the health agent. None of it goes to administration.
No.
But that doesn't mean it caused me to hesitate to get into the financial reporting of it. And the other is the Historical Society. They want to build a new building, I was going to call Taj Mahal, they're in a building now, it's not open to the public. And I couldn't get him to explain to me why it wasn't, except that it's not air conditioned and climate controlled, stuff like that. And they have $5 million already raised for a new county building. And then yesterday I saw in the paper that Cumberland County, Wolf has given them an additional $2 million to build this.
So they got $7 million.
And no air conditioning?
Pardon?
And no air conditioning?
The extra $2 million was for the air conditioning, so, you know, the guy hasn't called me back, so I'd say that our best approach in completing my assignment there is to just, the request came in the summer, we'll just let it go. And that's the only thing, something else here, but I'll remember when we get to it, but anyway, those are my only comments.
Okay. All right, and what I had, Bob, is I want to, the time of year.
Uh-oh,
Yeah.
the summons.
It's, now, we want to recognize Bob for as many years as being a township supervisor.
Yeah.
This is his last meeting that he'll be attending as a supervisor. So we want to thank you again. He was supervisor from 2010 to 2021, so we want to present you with this plaque here of
Thank you very
appreciation.
much.
And also, we would like to give you the certificate from PSATs also for appreciation for your service, and many years of service, Bob.
Thank you very much. I'll be able to use this on my resume for my next book.
You can have these things if you want, if you don't, you don't have to.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank
So
you.
it's been interesting and challenging, and I have enjoyed almost every minute of it.
Cool. Well, thank you again. I know Bob, before he became a supervisor, he was also on the planning board, he was on the auditor. He did other things other than his years of service in the supervisor position.
Thanks.
We appreciate that. Did you talk to Judy about
We'll do that next month.
next month with Mr. Hogan?
Yeah, Judy was unable to make it tonight.
Okay.
You did get her written
Oh,
report.
thank you.
Yes, I know. Okay, other than that, I don't have anything that's under the public supervisor comments at this time. Again, thanks again, Bob, we really appreciate it, and hope we wish you the best going forward.
Thank you.
All right, we're starting with our minutes from the November 3rd meeting, the regular meeting. Everybody have an opportunity to review those minutes.
Yep.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes.
all in favor?
Aye.
How about the November 10th budget meeting?
Once again, I'll make a motion to approve the budget meeting.
Second that?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The November 18th budget meeting?
I'll do it again. I'll make a motion to approve that.
And all, second?
All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much for that. The treasurer's report for November the 2021. Everyone have an opportunity to go through the treasurer's report.
Yes, I have, and I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, now we're gonna go on down to the invoices, 11/4/21 through 11/30/21. These are retroactive invoices. If you have an opportunity to review those invoices, and if so, can I have a motion to approve those invoices?
I've gone through them, and I make a motion to approve them.
And I'll second that.
Thank you. How about the invoices for 12/7/21?
And I have reviewed those, and I make a motion that we approve them.
I'll
Yep.
second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll have our payroll. This is gonna be retroactive from 10/24 to 11/6. 11/11 to 11/21 was the pay date. Everyone have an opportunity to review the payroll for that.
Yes, and I'll make a motion to approve those.
All in favor? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, payroll for 11/7 through 11/24. That's also retroactive. I'll make a motion that we approve those since I was the one that did them.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And the last one is 11/21 through 12/4. And his pay date was 12, will be this coming week, 12/9, so this was current.
And I'll make a motion to approve those since I reviewed them.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, that was quick enough. All right, the next thing on our report is Township Reports, Police. Sheriff.
November of 2021, we're 275 hours. Put 1,124 miles on the cars. Used 94.5 gallons of gas. We answered 14 911 calls. PSP came out here and answered 3 for us. Wrote 38 traffic tickets, bless you. 1 faulty equipment, 6 written warnings, and did have 1 misdemeanor arrest. We worked 25 hours in Freedom Township. There were no 911 calls out there. We wrote 41 traffic citations and 9 written warnings. Some of the other highlights of the month, we did go ahead and purchase 2 tasers from Axon, and it'll probably, they said, take somewhere from 6 to 8 weeks for delivery on those. I attended a press conference held at the PennDOT shed out here on the 16th to promote the Click It and Ticket event that had been going on for most of November, and our department did participate in the enforcement of that. Both police cars had the oil changed in them in November. I did also meet with met with the Highland Township supervisors about their expectations for our police coverage that will be starting in January. Actually, I might have done that in this month in December. Either way. We've all now completed our mandatory in-service update training for 2021.
Can you give us quickly some highlights of what the Highland Township supervisors expect of you, or anything
Yeah,
different?
I can, but like when we do Freedom Township, all Freedom Township really wants from us is to run speed out there.
Yeah.
Highland Township wants something a little different. They would like us to answer 911 calls that come in. So like when we go on duty here in Liberty for the day, we'll be available to answer a call in Highland Township if it comes in, and that will be deducted off of their hours. We'll also run some speed enforcement, and we'll do some just regular patrols like we do here in Liberty, maybe some business checks, elderly checks, more of the same stuff that we do here in Liberty Township, not just speed-based like it is in Freedom. So, like, not if their code enforcement officer wants somebody to go along when he goes out, we'll do that just like we do here in Liberty for ours. That was one of their concerns. So just some things like that to get started with, and then we'll tweak it as we go along. If I have suggestions about something else I see that I think would be beneficial to them, I'll bring it up, and vice versa. If they get something they see or some input from their residents, then we can tweak it as we go along.
That's pretty much what you do here.
Yes, pretty much.
Anybody else have any questions for the chief? No other questions?
Yeah, you wrote 50 citations in Freedom in 25 hours and only 45 in Liberty.
Exactly right.
Can't catch that one in Liberty.
What's that?
He's too fast.
Yeah, I'm working on that. If that's the only ticket I write in December, that'll be written. I can guarantee you
She's
that.
got a bug on.
She's got her sight set.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, then I need, everyone agrees to the resolution, it's 7A. Item I, it's the resolution for Liberty Township to go into an intergovernmental agreement, police agreement between Highland Township and Liberty Township. It says, whereas the Liberty Township Board of Supervisors supports intergovernmental cooperation with neighboring Adams County municipalities in all areas and joint cooperation and services, and hereby Liberty Township has a police department, and hereas the second-class code article, section 1904 state that any township may contract with a municipality or corporation to provide police service within the other municipal corporation. When a contract is made, the township police has all power and authority conferred by law on police in the municipality corporation which has contracted with secure police services. Whereas Liberty Township has approached Highland Township to offer police service in exchange for the payment. Whereas the Board of Supervisors of Liberty Township and the Board of Supervisors of Highland Township shall enter into an intergovernmental service agreement as outlined in the attached agreement dated this date, and therefore, it is resolved that the Board of Supervisors of Liberty Township do hereby adopt this resolution this 7th day of December of 2021, a regular meeting which was duly conveyed in accordance with the law. That's my motion that we adopt this ordinance or resolution. Do I have a second?
Can I just add one thing to that? I just wanna
Oh,
note
yeah.
that Highland did change the end date of the agreement from December 31st to January 5th. And the board just would need.
Yeah,
to
that's in
change
the
that.
contract.
That's in the agreement.
Yeah, it's in the contract, yes.
Okay.
Okay, well, I got a motion. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. So we'll sign that and get that to Highland Township. All right, another thing on the police agenda here, I make a motion to approve the letter that Chief Hanson had written to send to one of our applicants dated December 3rd, 2021. Do I have a second for that letter?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Also, we had, we want to make a motion that right now we put a freeze on all hiring of any part-time police officers until further notice.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Okay, zoning. Let me get to the zoning. Alright, zoning. The zoning report, we have, land use permits, Harbor Valley Road for a deck, for a permit for $90, and we have, a non-conformance application, for the land use permit on Texas Road for $90. Total of 180 land use permits. Well permit, for Bonton Builders and Terry Lane for $50. And is that 2 well permits?
No, that's just one. It's a substitute.
Oh, that's okay. So we have a total of public safety of $213 in permits that were issued for the month of November.
Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Does anybody know what that well permit over, it's the one on Route 16 you're talking about, isn't it?
No,
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
no, this is on Terry Lane, 15,
No,
15
sorry.
Terry Lane.
Disregard my question.
Let me see here, okay, this time here, we have a request for temporary accessory building, 39, that's our address.
45.
John D.
Green. Yes, sir.
Has written a request for, to be given, request for consideration construction of full-blown structure on the property, at 350 Chopper Road. This is a structure, he's planning on building a house there on this premises here, but he wants to build a shed. Did you give him out, your shed's in the packet there?
Yeah, I have it.
It was 24 by 36, 2-car garage type of deal. Any comments on that?
Well, there's a permit request in here for a house and for a shed, I believe. Am I-
Yeah, there's a permit here for the,
Are they both concurrent, I mean, at the same time?
I can elaborate if you'd like me
Okay, starting with the location, I'm not sure what that address is.
to. Yes, sir. 350 Copper Road is, right before you get to the end, it's, second lot before you get to Orchard on the left.
Yeah, this side of Bob,
Yeah.
Mr. Grant,
looks like Mr. Grant.
just this, where the pine trees
Where
are.
all the pine trees?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I know where,
Um,
exactly.
Okay, I'm I'm trying to store some building materials, being as it's so hard to get them for them early, and I got my, I'm pretty sure my land use is approved, got my stormwater management, got my plans, I got everything I need, but I'm having, trouble getting started right now, and I need stuff to store some, materials, and hopefully break ground in the next 4 to 6 weeks, depending on the builder. Builder's wife has COVID right now, so that's put a delay on that. And so if I could put the building up to store this stuff, my intention is to keep it once we build the house. And if for some reason the house is not built within a reasonable amount of time, I would remove the building. I know your ordinance, what it says, and I don't want to go against the ordinance, but with what's going on the last year and a half with prices on material and everything's going on, I'm just trying to be a little proactive and get myself in position to get this thing built, because the construction loans only last so long. So, and when you go past the time limit on the construction loans, then you get into other problems. So I'm just trying to be proactive and getting the house built.
I understand.
Now, you're saying that you're anticipating breaking ground in 4 weeks,
4 to 6 weeks?
4 to 6 weeks on your house?
Yes, sir.
How soon do you think you put this shed up?
Probably not that soon.
I didn't say.
No, as a matter of fact, that'll take probably closer to 2 months to get that done, to get that ordered. But I didn't want to order anything until I had the meeting here tonight. Depending on the outcome will depend on what I do with that. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But
And our situation, and you're pretty well aware of this because you're code enforcement in Littlestown, correct?
I'm the zoning and code, yes.
So you're enforcement. The problem we have here is and you're already aware because you've already brought it in your letter too. So you know what our zoning says about a building that's not got a
primary residence, yes, sir.
And the problem we had, John, is this: is we had in the last year we've had 4 I know people came and asked us to do the exact same thing you're asking us to do, and we've turned them down. So if we make an exception for you, then we have to go back to them and say,
I completely understand.
so you understand what our situation is. And this past Friday, I actually had a meeting with a resident in our township that is currently building a house. And he wanted the same thing. He wanted us to give an exception to the ordinance. And I told him the same exact thing on Friday. So listen, if I give you an exception to the ordinance, then I have to give the next guy exception to the ordinance. So we're setting the precedence to do that. So under that thing, if you're gonna start your house in 4 to 6 weeks.
I'm hoping to.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee there. I'm still.
Because what is your thought on this one, as far as legally wise? Because like I said, I know 4 different residents we had this summer that we told them no, because they wanted to put accessory building on their property that did not have a structure there.
Well, first of all, I think that's in our zoning. I don't.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think they have to go to the zoning hearing board you'd have to go to the zoning hearing board to get a variance to do what you're doing. But I don't see how you would get a variance. It's a self-created hardship. So if you're familiar with variances, you know they're tough to get.
I was kind of going on the premise that if I got the land use and everything else, and everything's in motion to have the primary structure, put on the property, not like I'm not going that direction. That's why I was kind of going that way, hoping that, look, I've done everything I can do to move forward to do the project. And that's why I was hoping to show that, hey, I'm going to build a house. It's not like I'm not going to have a primary structure there. So at this point, unfortunately, I'm not sure exactly what we're going to build. I'm hoping when I tell you we are, but the way things are going with contractors and different things have been getting delayed a little bit. So
Yeah, and a lot of people I know, like you said, woods, it was up real high, as you know. It's come down a lot lately, but I still don't think it's come down to the point where a lot of people are delaying building the main structure till those prices come down. And I think that's what the chairman's worried about. And what happens if those wood prices double again? By the time you get around to building it, then we got a shed out there for God knows how long, and that's just not going to look good because as he said, we're not allowing anyone else to do it. You know,
Gotcha.
You know, it's crazy times we're in. You know, especially building. I wouldn't wanna be in your shoes now. I wouldn't wanna be building.
Well, I guess it's a coin toss right now. It's, not sure if we'll wait any longer.
Yeah,
If
could
it
they
gets
go
worse,
higher?
I don't know, and I'm kinda, it's a tough decision, but,
Yeah.
they have gone down. Most certain building materials have gone down, not all. But, I was hoping to put my orders in, cause some of them will be delayed getting them anyway, and kinda timing things out. Love to be done by, June or July of 2022. Kind of my goal. Hoping, but I could stretch it to the fall.
Yeah.
Well, can I ask a question regarding the structure you're considering, the garage, or whatever you want to call
Pole barn, yes.
it? Pole barn. The picture you have there has two, looks like 8x9 doors. Is that what you're planning on putting in that building? Roll-up doors.
I'm gonna put a roll-up
You
door
said it
on
was
one
similar
side,
to-
yes. That's not the exact, I couldn't, they didn't have a picture of the exact one I'm looking at,
Mhm.
but, I was just trying to give an idea of, it'd be actually 24 by 40, a little longer, and a door on the one side and a couple windows on
How big a door do you plan on putting in it?
the typical 9 foot by 8, roll-up door.
So you're not gonna really put any long lumber in there?
My concern more is ordering like windows and stuff like along that door.
Doors and all that sort of
Yes,
stuff?
that's more my concern, but the wood is not as difficult to get right now.
Mhm.
It's the other stuff, interior stuff, for kitchens and,
Yeah.
refrigerator, whatever, all that stuff was taking so long. And I'm worried once we get started and they start putting my orders in, they'll catch up and finish what they need to do and then not have nothing else to finish up. That's kind of where my thinking is. And I see that happen all the time with builders where I'm at now. You know, I'm a building code official and I see this all the time. So I'm just trying to be proactive. And of course, if you guys don't want to go, then
I know one of the things that the guy I just mentioned here, and I met with on Friday at that particular site, they're building a house, right now, and they have a construction trailer sitting there, I guess it's like
Sea container?
it's a sea container, and they got windows and doors in the sea container. That's what they brought in, and of course, it's not on the permanent things, they just brought it and dropped it and put stuff in there. I mean, something like that, if you got your building, your permits and all going forward, something like that, I'm assuming is allowed, because we had nothing to do with that. I mean, they got their permits and the guys got their, we had no involvement in that at all.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, but that wouldn't be a permanent structure either.
Correct.
That's
That's
just
not
there,
permanent.
that's just temporary.
So maybe that's something you could look at, that direction, because, like I said, that's exactly what they had sitting on that job site that I looked at on Friday.
Okay.
And I was like, huh. And I even asked the fellow when I was there, I says, what do you got in that? He gives my windows and doors and all. I went, oh, cool. I said, all right. Cool. Yeah, like I said, unfortunately, if we do this one here, then the ones that we already turned down have grounds to come back and say, well, you didn't let us do it. And I was
I
like,
completely understand.
that makes it look bad on us. That's where I'm at. Anybody else have any?
No, I feel your pain.
I appreciate you here, that's all.
I do. No, I think you pretty well understand the whole thing.
All right, so unfortunately, we'll have to deny that then, so I have to make a motion to deny the request. Have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so
It's all good, it's all good.
all right,
Thanks for your time.
the next thing we have here is, road department, all right. The road department, we had, 705 miles we drove for the month of November. We used a total of 49 gallons of gas, 29 gallons of on-road and 56 gallons of off-road, for the road department. And of course, we finished up, our tree canopy, at the end of October there. So that's all done. We got the plows ready to go if we get snow. Just put the 550, put the plow on it yesterday, and the cinders and grease and all that, and got it all ready. The GMC, we got it inspected. last week, had to get new tires on it for its past inspection, a little over $800 for tires for it. So that should be good to go for another year, I hope. We also installed a new, the blade.
Oh.
The edge, the cutting
Yeah, the cutting edge, it was, I'm losing it here. What's the name of the blade you put on there, Bob?
Carbide.
Oh, yeah, the carbide blade cost us about $800 for the carbide blade. And so we installed that on there, so we're ready, for the big truck. We put, a steel faceplate on it to give us longer last on that. Also, Bobby and the road crew we got in there and, worked on the, tarp. The tarp was messed up, needed to be repaired. And Bobby took the frame apart and straightened that out and got it back together. Also did some welding on the bed of the truck, to get that, we won't lose our items that we have in it when we're going down the road. Greased and lubed everything on it. Also, we have all our anti-skid now is in. We're stockpiling anti-skid, we're stockpiling salt, and we also have pre-mix ready to go if we need it. Other than that, we have a little bit of issues out on the road as far as trees coming down and some limbs falling and stuff like that. And that's a major that we really needed to deal with on that. I don't think that's anything else in the road department current thing. Yeah, that's all I have for the road department. One thing I will do, I want to go back to the supervisor's comments. I forgot to mention that I did take the NIMS 100 class 2 weeks ago, and took the test and passed the test. So I had NIMS 100 certification, and then I went on Friday this past week, took a 3-hour NIMS 700 class, and we'll be taking that test this week at some point in time. We have the NIMS 700. I would recommend that the other supervisors give some thought on taking this, because at some point in time we really have to be on the federal emergency management team, especially if I'm not here for whatever reason. I want to make a motion that we have Wendy take the NIMS 100 class. I don't know that she needs to take the 700. I want to find out from PSATs if she really needs the 700. But the 100 I think she does need, because in the training it talked about filing federal paperwork to retrieve money that you need, that you lost during an emergency management operation, and you have to be able to file those papers according to the regulations. So that was falling to Miss Wendy's category. Just another hat to put on.
Thank you.
So I'll make a motion that Wendy takes the NIMS 100 online, and then take the test. And then if I can pass it, I know Wendy can pass it. I guarantee you. I failed it the first time, and then I turned around and took it the second time about 5 weeks later. The only reason I failed it the first time is because I ran out of time. I didn't know it was a time test. But, all right, so I'll make a motion that Wendy would take the NIMS 100.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. All righty, Secretary, Treasurer's report.
Do I have anything? Oh,
I don't know,
Mr.
dude.
Barlow, I would like you to go ahead and talk about the applicant that we met with.
Okay, as we spoke about their executive session, we have an applicant in front of us, Bridget L. Muncie. She has applied for a position. It's an assistant to Wendy, just doing clerical work for the township. And what we met with her on Monday, yesterday at 4 p.m. and interviewed her. She's aware of the hours that we need, about 3 hours, 3 or 4 days, 3 days a week, or maybe 4 at most. She's willing to come in on a temporary trial basis through the Christmas break, December 28th, 29th, and 30th. As I mentioned to you guys in our executive session, I want to make a motion that we bring her on board for those 3 days to see if it's a fit for her, if it's a fit for Wendy, and if so, then we'll move forward, after that, we determine that. And I also want, so first I'll make a motion that we hire her, for that temporary, trial basis for December 28th through 30th.
I'll second that.
Okay, now, Wendy, just so the minutes reflect, there's a secretary in the township code, then there's an assistant secretary.
She's just in as an administrative assistant, let's be clear. This is
Yeah,
just
I think,
everyone
yeah,
their title.
and I think it would be administrative assistant to the secretary, rather than assistant.
There you
secretary.
go.
Okay,
That will be her title, because she's not gonna hold an appointed position.
right, I
She's
just want the minutes to reflect that administrative assistant to the
Yes,
secretary.
thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Risco. All right, so I made a motion, to second it, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, my second motion is we're going to start our starting wage at $16 an hour, for this trial basis. You make a motion for that,
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Wendy, we will, send her a letter or get back in touch with her, letting her know that, her start date is, as we discussed, the 28th. You can set that all up.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? Thank you. Alrighty, anything else for the secretary position? Treasurer's position?
Wait and see.
Okay, let's see how that goes. Alright, we're moving on here to planning board. Alright, the planning board, did not have any, meetings before them in November. There's nothing else, and we had no business to report from the planning board per G's, letter that she sent me. We do have some things in front of us here tonight. We have, on 7E, EI, consider to approve a request for extension, to review time for the land development plan for the Thomas. This is for the airport hangar. They're requesting to have more time, to go through their process of, planning, because they need to correct a lot of stuff. So, I make a motion, we give them an extension of time.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
And that will be until February 1st, that'll be the new
Yes.
end date.
Yes. According to the request,
Yes.
sorry.
It's okay, I didn't put it on the agenda.
Alright, so our second thing on here that we have is consider accepting an application for review for the subdivision plan dated 11/3/21 on Winchcott Road. I'll make a motion that we accept the application for review.
And I'll second that.
I'll,
Okay, all in favor?
aye.
Okay. That's all we were doing with that tonight, was just the, for it to be reviewed. Alrighty. Then we're gonna go down to old business where Mr. Jackson already took care of the first A and B items. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Alright, update on the waste contract, request bid. I was actually reviewing that here, just prior to me coming in here. There's some things that we need to look at that. I want to talk to Carol about a couple things I've seen in the waste contract. But there's a pre-bid, meeting, on the 13th that I will be attending at 10 o'clock at Carroll Valley, and then the final bid opening is December the 30th, which we will also be attending, that one too, but we need to, there's a couple things in there we need to clarify with Carroll Valley on before we go forward with signing that. Wendy, does the other two supervisors have copies of that bid that they sent to us?
Got it in an email.
Yes, I
It's
was told.
55 pages. Can you
It
elaborate
just
on?
came in yesterday or something. I haven't even read it, it's 55 pages.
Well, I just briefed through it while I was waiting for
I
the
think
meeting.
that's what it is.
Yeah, it's 55 pages, and I was going through there just briefing over some of the
They
things.
said they had Sullivan Hughes review it and update it from last year.
Right.
Did
Mr.
we
Lisco,
give it
did
to
you
Mr.
review it?
Lisco? Do you want her to review it? Do you want him to review it?
I mean, if there's another attorney reviewing it, I don't see why you need to, you know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the question. I don't know.
That's up to you guys. That's usually I saw another attorney is reviewing it.
Yeah, but I don't know if anybody is Carol Valley?
Saltzman Hughes rewrote the entire thing.
Oh, he is, okay.
They
okay.
did, and that's what came back. It was 35 pages though, I think, and now it's 55 pages.
And Saltzman Hughes represents a couple
Carroll
of,
Valley, at least, and they're doing it on behalf of Carroll Valley. They've taken point on this, and Carroll Valley has.
Now, I did see in the beginning of it, the Carol Valley's requiring a bond
I did not
to be
read
made
it.
out to Carol Valley for, I think, $50,000.
I did not read it, so.
I mean, if you want me to take a look at it, I can.
What I did do, and I have not received a response, and I would encourage you, Mr. Barlow, to ask the same question, maybe you'll get a response, was I asked them to either give me red line changes or tell me what they've changed in order to increase it to 20 extra pages. Because I don't know what's been put in there or taken out, I can't tell. And that way we'll know, because how is this different from last year? And I think those are the important questions we need to know. If the bond wasn't there before, and why is it there now? So that's really what I would encourage you to do. I asked her 2 times, there were 3 weeks, but I hadn't received a response.
I'll reach out to the president of the board.
Thank you.
Did you have any specifics, specific concerns in that contract that you can share, or just thoughts?
No, I just wanted to reiterate some of the things about like the, recycling collection. The bin that we have out here now, as I said to Wendy yesterday, that bin's been sitting out there now full for the
They have
past
to pick it.
3 months. And I moved it down there and set it right beside the trash box, and they dumped the trash, and they the bin there. And of course, you know, as Wendy indicated, that's not a recycling bin because they didn't ran out or whatever, and just gave us that one. So that's an issue we need to clarify. We're having that problem. Is our residents having that problem too with recycling? The other one too is I'm reading in there about large item pickups. There's 1 item per week. And then the big items like refrigerators and stuff like that has to be called to do it, but they are, I wanna know if they are gonna.
I have always had, I'm in Carroll Valley, and they've always been very compliant with that for
Mhm.
large item pickup.
Even the free
I've
stuff?
had the craziest things for them to pick up, sofas, ping pong tables,
Oh.
they will pick them up.
And another one that I know other townships, one of the meetings I went to, some of the problems we were having was litter. And guess what? I went home today and my trash can, was sitting out there to be dumped. Well, half the trash is in my field. So I don't know when they went to dump it or the wind blew by or whatever, but it went.
You
So
have-
I was walking around picking up pizza boxes for my son. I know there is pizza boxes all over the place, and I'm like,
Well, you know, a while back, I had trouble with the recycle
yes.
thing, and I called them twice about that, and then it kind of remedied it, but
Okay.
I don't have an official recycle bin from Parks or
Right.
whoever.
Which is that giant.
I have a beige trash can, and they said you gotta mark it recycle.
Alright, so maybe whoever's
And
driving that.
I took a spray can and I painted recycle
Right.
all around it, and they pick it up now, so.
They probably finally have a note on your,
And they only do it,
every 2
one-
weeks.
Yeah. every
They
2
don't
weeks.
do it this week, cause
So
it's always,
next
Bob,
week.
Bob Jackson taught me how to remember that. The week we're not doing payroll, so we're doing payroll, it's not recycling. So now I'm like, am I doing payroll this week? Okay, I'm not, it's recycling, so.
Well,
If it works, it works. I would comment that you weren't involved, I think, with the predecessor to Parks. It was much worse.
Oh,
yeah,
waste
Every
management,
day,
they are-
trash all over the place.
yeah.
I think they frisbeed everybody's lids if they had around.
Yeah.
And they're quite unresponsive to any complaints. These people are a lot better than the other
They're
guys,
angels compared to.
even though they're not perfect.
Yeah, they do it pretty
But
good.
they are responsive to complaints if you call them.
Well, and they also call them, and if they can't make your trash pickup that day, they've been really good at calling and said, hey, sorry, we'll be by tomorrow or whatever.
Having lived through the predecessor, I had no complaints about Parks.
I think they missed me one day and I called them and said, hey, we got to come out my place. They said the pickup truck out there. Took my trash. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. All right, well, those dates are, but like I said, it's the 13th at 10 a.m. at Carroll Valley if you're interested in wanting to go. And the other, and the opening bid date is December the 30th, also at 10 a.m.
And will you be attending that one, Mr. Rowland?
No, I have to attend the parent.
I'm gonna try to be there with you.
All right, the next thing is update on cable franchise fees. I just read that today, and boy, do I have some things for those boys.
Well,
Bob, I know you've been dealing with them, so,
I've been dealing with them for at least 10 years, and they're miserable and inexperienced, not motivated, and very wealthy.
yes.
And I have no sympathy for them, and the burning issues. By the way, I don't know another municipality that has actually completed the agreement with them. They've gone past the expiration date and they're still arguing. What they're all arguing about and trying to get Comcast to pay for is something called PEG service, which is a government program over our community TV, which I don't think have any interest. Haven't seen one shred of interest in our township, so I don't think it matters whether it's in there or not from our point of view.
Right.
So they've given, Salzman Hughes has been leading the charge, has been unsuccessful in getting any resolution. So there are a lot of noise and not very much action. They're very expensive, and what they would like to do, there are two things they want to do. They want to sign up more customers in Liberty Township, but only in the area that's involved also with Carroll Valley. And they wanted $100,000 to do that, to be contributed by the homeowners, to extend service from at the airport about a quarter of a mile up the hill toward your place. And that didn't get much support. Then they learned about all this money we're getting for COVID, and they reduced their demand down to 29,000. And the position I took with them is that we need to know, we will be able to be enthusiastic about their service, but they gotta put it in for everybody in Liberty Township. And they sent me a list of all the addresses that have service already, but they, as of yet, have not sent us any kind of a map showing where they have service. And it would seem to be unreasonable that we would pay for putting service in for a few of our residents when other people want it and can't get it. So I think that's a dead end. And they keep talking about it, and they keep talking about finding money, and what they mean is that we should find the money to help them put in the service. And I don't think that's an acceptable way.
It's not, and I read over the contract today, also, and there's things in there that they have not been compliant with for a long time. And I'm talking specifically about they're trimming their trees and shrubs from above their cable lines, and then we call them, chief calls them, and when trees come down their lines and they're still out there for a year and a half ago, it's right in the contract, and they're responsible for cleaning it, and they don't. It's in the contract about burying their lines below the 36-inch addition ordinance that we have, and their lines are still laying on the top of the ground along the right of way in the township. So they've never complied with that. So I'm not in favor of going forward with this contract fees franchise.
Well, where it stands right now is that they give our township about $8,500 a year, which is paid for by the people who subscribe to Comcast.
Right.
And we don't, as a township, benefit any way other than getting the $8,500, which we don't give to anybody else. We don't give it to community TV. We just use it, which is a fair contribution, I think. And there's very little chance of changing that franchise agreement. I have looked at the new copy that they sent. They just sent it yesterday.
Yeah,
it just came in.
But I suspect it's exactly the same as the old one, and they're going to say no to any changes we want to make. And the thing expires in August. My recommendation is that we just let it look at it for any changes from the last one. If it's the same as the last one, I think it's in our best interest to just continue it. And if we have things that we object to, we'll just raise the objections and duke it out with them. But I don't think they have anybody who has the moxie to really get in and adjust that franchise agreement. It's due to expire about in July. And what I plan to do, I have a whole file on it, all my conversations with all those people and with Dave in Carroll Valley too. He's at odds with him now. He was gonna join him, but now he's sort of held up. But I'll take my whole file, I'll give it to Wendy, and she can put it in our files here, and if we have an energetic new supervisor who would like to pick up the torch on that one, you're sure welcome to. But, Comcast is good service, probably better than DirecTV or some of the others, but they're very expensive.
Yeah. And
And they're pretty damn arrogant, and they never make a mistake, and I don't like them. No, I don't dislike them, but there's a big large corporation. So that's my report on Comcast.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, the last one we have in old business is the fire department donation. Wendy gave you a breakdown, I believe everyone got a breakdown of the fire reports that were given to the township for January through December. Actually, the report is from January to October, we don't have November and December. It should be 8E of your packet.
Should be 18.
8E.
I've never seen.
You find it in front?
It looks like a chart.
Yeah. It says at the top, 2021 fire company
I
donation.
stamped draft all over it.
There's what?
Got a stamp draft all over it.
Draft.
Yeah, keep going, we're still, I'll keep on going back there.
It's pretty
Go to
good.
the back?
Yes.
Yeah, right, it's right before, it's like one page or two.
No, I
there.
understand.
It's just stuck in the middle there.
Okay. Did you
It's
find
not
it?
stuck in there.
Go back one more, see these lines, that's what we're looking for.
Oh,
It's right there.
yeah.
Now, if you,
Hard to see through paper.
I need to get thicker paper.
so if you go down to,
Got it.
if
Okay.
you go down through your reports, you'll see, Fairfield has a total, I mean, we can go month by month if you want to, but they have a total right now, excluding November and December, 16 calls in our township. Fountaindale has 11. Emmitsburg has 37 calls in our township. And then Arms, of course, is the Adams County, Adams Regional Emergency Management. They have 72. That's EMS calls. That's not fire calls. That's EMS calls. There's a total of 135 calls we add all together. If you break that down to percentage wise, as we've been doing, that would be 12% of the calls. Fairfield made 8% for Fountaindale, 27% for Emmitsburg, and then the EMS calls was 53% of EMS calls. So we have a total of $38,475 in other donations on our budget line item right now. Now, last year, I think it was last year, we rescinded the fire tax and signed a resolution to take that off the tax roll and just roll it into the general fund. And then that way we could distribute funds to the different fire companies the way we felt we wanted to, and without them fighting and bickering and all the other stuff. So if you look at your sheet there, Wendy has the $38,475 broke down. If we wanted to give all of it out and completely zero that account with the other donation account out, that's the breakdown if you want to go by those percentages. I don't particularly agree with those percentages because Fairfield is our main fire company. It's always been our main fire company, and it's the fire company that we have to support. These other fire companies are assistant fire companies to Fairfield. Emmitsburg has been a big help for us. Emmitsburg makes a lot of calls, but again, they are an assisting fire company to Fairfield, so is Fountaindale. So what I have done is Wendy and I talked about making some recommendations. I'm going to recommend that we give, instead of the $4,560, that we give Fairfield $10,000, in contributions, for the 2021, calendar year.
Mickey, those calls,
Yeah.
total calls, is that first call? Is that first on scene or how?
No, those calls they made,
Those are the ones they,
they
They made.
calls, they reported they made,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I got a question.
Yeah,
When ARMS was first set up, they were included in the people that could be considered for donations, and they said they didn't need any money.
yeah.
Now, they're not talking that way now, are they? How active are they in trying to
They're not.
solicit funds?
And that's the thing, I was gonna get to them, I'll go across here, Bob, and we can talk about
Okay.
that. So I'm recommending that we give a donation of $10,000 to Fairfield. Our 8% calculates the fountain bill will be $31.35. I'm gonna recommend that we give them, $5,000. And then, for Emmitsburg, that we give them $10,000. That's $545 less than what the recommended, the 27%. ARMS, they have here for $20,000. ARMS told us very clearly the last time we offered them money, we was not gonna take that money, which is fine. So I have written down here the recommendation to make a donation of $2,500 to them. They can say yay or they can say nay. If you don't want it, then we'll put it back in the general fund, or we can distribute that $2,500 between the other fire companies. That would give us a total of $27,500 of donations, for this year out of the other, line item that we have for donations on there. And it would leave us approximately $11,000 that would stay in the general fund. And also, anyhow, there's the one recommendation is, so we'll talk about that.
Makes sense. Question,
Yeah.
these calls that are on here, ARMS made 71 and Fairfield made 16. Are they the equivalent dollar value of each? You know, it seems to me an ARMS call is an ambulance, one vehicle running on gasoline with one driver running out to pick somebody up and take them to the hospital, whereas Fairfield could be 6 hook and ladder trucks and.
Well, the thing you have to look at, Bob, the way it goes, it doesn't quite go that easy. The fire calls, you're right, fire calls, they got rescue truck, you got, depending on an accident, you got your fire truck, and you got a couple of different pieces of apparatus. But when you're talking ambulance or EMS, ARMS now, when they roll, they're not just a BLS unit, they are an ALS unit. So now you have we have a paramedic on board all these ambulances. Every one of these calls now is a paramedic. So you have a driver, you have a paramedic, and you might even have an attendant. I don't know if they got 3 member boards or not. But you do have, so now you've got ALS on there. So,
My question is a call for an EMS equivalent to a call for the fire department? In other words, we're using 16 compared to 71. And eventually, we're going to be asked to give more money, I'm sure, to ARMS, or I think so. But are we using the right basis in considering a call to be equivalent?
well, and that that's kind of tough because if you take ARMS and they are for profit, even though they said they're not for profit, they are for profit because when they go out on any calls, ALS calls, they send a bill to every resident. If you're a member of them, they don't send it to you, they'll send it to your insurance company, so they're still billing the insurance company.
Yep.
So that is not really a non-profit organization.
Well, maybe
If they're billing your insurance company, they're still billing your insurance company, and like I said, we offered them last year a donation and they said no, they wouldn't take the donations.
I agree with the way you've done it this year. I think I would support that. But I'm wondering, going forward, maybe to next year, maybe an ARMS call would be worth half a call, or a quarter of a call, or a quarter of a call. In other words, adjust our donation formula so that it isn't heavily weighted in favor.
Well, one thing I tried to do with them last year, and I didn't do it this year because Eric, which was their main was he president of operations or something like that? I forgot about Eric's thing, no?
Yeah, he was in charge.
He was in charge. So we were talking about, eliminating this membership thing of $100 per household. And he had presented me with a proposal that if we, signed up everybody, it's $50 a household for up to 3 members in the house. That's complete membership. The township would pay that at a $50, half the price of what they charge the resident. And but the thing is, we have to ratify, do it, I guess, by vote to see if the residents want to do that, because if we're going to incur a $50 fee, then we got to be able to capture a special tax for that, and then they wouldn't bill any of our residents in our entire township. But he left before that, and we didn't get any response back from our letters, at least, the notice that we sent.
All I'm suggesting is that going forward, not this year, consider the cost or the value of the various types of service that we get.
Yeah.
With the fire company, I think it's pretty well, each one does the same sort of thing.
Right.
But with the ambulance service, I don't know. And
Yeah, and that's gonna be, I think you're right, I think that's something we gotta look at from year to year and address it each year, how it comes down, because
well,
like I said, our arms, last year we went to give them, what, $17,000, and they said no.
yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, if somebody wants to give me $17,000, I'd be taking it.
What is
But-
there, what areas does ARMS cover? Obviously, Liberty
All Adams
Township,
County,
all of Adams.
all of that.
Most of that.
Just about, right, you're right, it's not completely all of it, but just about all of
Okay.
that. They have medic unit, what they, now they call them their NICU units.
Yeah.
Their NIC units, which are paramedic units. They have one in Gettysburg, or 2 in Gettysburg, I think, one in Fairfield, one in Bakerville, and there's one in New Oxford. Am I missing any?
No, because I think Saves has their own.
Saves has their own, that's right. So there's your NIC units throughout Adams County. So they have NIC units staged throughout Adams County at different places to cover all entire county.
Okay.
All right, well,
One other question.
yeah.
When Fairfield gave up its ambulance service to ARMS, what did they get in exchange for that? Anything? Did they sell the equipment?
They
Make a profit?
They sold, yeah, as far as I know, they sold them, yeah, they bought their equipment from them.
So
And now ARMS pays Fairfield, rental to have a storage bay in the Fairfield Fire Department.
Do they utilize the quarters upstairs?
I don't have a clue.
Yeah.
I would say yes, but I don't know for sure. I don't know what their agreement is, but they do have an agreement.
Well, I agree with the way you cut it up this year.
Okay, well, that's what we'll do then. I'll make a motion that we distribute the donation to the fire companies accordingly to the sheet, 10,000 to Fairfield. Are you writing this down?
Yes,
You write that down?
10,000, 5,000 Fountaindale, 10,000 Emmitsburg, and 2,500 to ARMS.
Correct.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. And the only thing I wanted on that too, I want to make sure that going forward in our budget items, that we don't have a line item that says other donations that,
Question.
yes.
What if ARMS turns down that 2,500? What are we going with that?
Well, we'll come back to the board here and decide what we want to do with 2,500.
Okay, very good.
All right, and we're gonna move into new business for public comment. Anybody on the line for public comment? I hear none. Do you want to comment about anything, Mr. Butler? Okay. No public comment. The Adams County Office of Planning and Development Data Used for Authorization. If you read this, what they want to do, I actually have, Mr. Lester, did you review this?
You did, you talked to Mr. Barlow about it weeks ago on the phone.
This planning and development about this agreement. They want us to sign an agreement to let them do the mapping for,
Yeah, may I see it?
Well, I sent it to you when I sent you also the banking forms, I
Yeah.
sent you this as well.
they're redoing the mapping and stuff like that for the planning, for the Adams County Planning Board. And they need permission from each township, because some of the information they have to
Yeah, I don't see any problem. I don't remember reviewing it, but maybe it's because it was a review just like this. I don't see much of a problem with
Okay.
it. I mean,
All right, now if you don't see much of a problem with it, then do you want any time to review it any further, or you want us to go ahead and make a motion?
no, I mean, it's just, you're just allowing them to use the data so they can do it for their mapping.
Right.
I mean, I
They've
don't,
been pressuring me for an answer, and I told them they had to wait till after today.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and give them permission, to, use the data that they've collected from our township.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Thank you. The next thing we have here is, the tax collector bank access. That's a thing with EIN number, that's shared by Jessica and the township. And, that EIN number has been that way forever. It seems that Adams County Bank is, go ahead and explain it again.
All I know is they keep updating their banking system. And however their banking system is, because Jessica has the EIN the same as ours, she shows up on all our forms as having access. But they promise us that I can't see her files and she can't see my files. But every once in a while when they do an update, that gets goofed, and I have access to her account and she has access to mine. So that's what the problem is. It's not an ongoing access, it's every time they're doing an update in their system or something, it accidentally gives us access to each other's bank accounts.
So do you both have the same user and password, or you have
No,
separate?
definitely not.
That's why I'm asking.
It's just on your screen, like,
No,
I
I
haven't
can-
had access, but Wendy's has seen that it'll say, like, it has all the township accounts, and then she could see my tax collector.
But I can
She would
actually
click
go
on it,
into
she
your,
can,
I can go into your account and make a transfer
if she wanted.
if I wanted to, because I
Oh, really?
tested it. I was like, oh, is this just a viewing thing? Oh, no, I actually have access to get in here and transfer, because I didn't
Tax dollars.
completely, yeah, in her files. But it's not ongoing, they corrected it when we reported it, it's happened one or two times. It seems to be every, when they're doing a
It happened
system
when I
update.
first opened my account,
Yeah.
I had access to everything and they changed it, and then when they did the update. you
Because
had access to
by
it.
default, since her account is set up with the same EIN number,
Yeah,
that's why that's happening.
well, we only have one EIN number.
I know that. I don't have I'm like, Mr. Barlow asked me to put that on there, that's why it's on there. I just reported it, and then I asked the bank to issue a letter stating that we did not have permissions. And he did issue that letter to us, so but it's kind of a fluky thing that keeps happening. You need to be aware of it, just security reasons.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, my thing is both of you are bonded.
I
For
don't
maximum
have,
amount.
it's just that you need to know that that's,
Right.
I'm not objecting to it, I'm not telling you to do anything, I'm just.
You're bonded to the maximum amount, correct, and you're bonded to the maximum amount, so.
well, getting an EI number is relatively easy. It's just,
No, that's a different issue.
All I know is that all tax collectors always use the township numbers. It's been discussed at meetings and it is it always comes up as an issue, but that's just how it's been done and nobody's ever done anything different and everybody does it that way.
Because I was requesting that before, when we were getting a new tax collector, I was like, why
It's
does
because
it?
they also have to be on my account. The township supervisors are on my bank account.
Right.
They all have access.
Yeah, because we have to have access for payroll and so forth.
Not,
But that doesn't have to do with me,
You
but
don't
you're
have
still on my
anything to
account for the township.
On your
When I
account.
open my account,
Okay,
you can
your-
sign it.
I thought you were talking about general.
No.
yeah, she's talking about her tax account.
well, it seems to me that maybe it's a banking issue.
It is the
It
bank,
is a bank
it's the
issue.
bank
Yeah.
problem. I'm just making the township aware that this bank has a fluke. It's a breach, okay? I'm just making you aware of it, if you're okay with it. Jessica and I aren't planning on robbing each other's bank accounts. But also, because this did happen, I'm just making you aware, as transparency.
Well, yeah, and that's
And that
duly
is
noted,
an
but
AC and bank banking.
I've seen the changes too when they do updates, when you go to confirm payroll and so forth. Sometimes
that changes. You kinda gotta look around again and figure out how to confirm.
That's
it.
true, but.
Now, the last 2 times I've done it, it's been consistent. Prior to that, it changed a couple of times.
Right.
Right, but and every time they change it, those, well, it happens
Yeah.
when they're updating and implementing a new system or upgrading their system. It probably defaults back to any special things that they had to do to keep us from seeing each
So
other.
what we can do is we can keep, if this becomes a problem, we can always change banks.
That's true, I'm just, right now, it's fine. I mean, I
If
can't
you
see
find
our
one that's any better.
Yeah. That's a difficult problem right there. All right,
All right, that's.
the other question on that I wanted to ask, because I know we were talking about when you were out for your surgery thing and we needed to try to do payroll and you wouldn't allow us to do payroll. Did you get that?
I have those forms and we'll just do them in January when Raymond comes on board.
Okay,
and sign
all
them.
right, okay. All right, we're gonna move on then, if there's no other discussion on that, to, item C, the deputy tax collector, that's just pretty much foregoing. Tammy Knight is, the alternate. I'll make a motion that we continue to hold her as the alternate, Jessica's deputy tax collector, for the 2022, year, tax season.
Mickey, I just need that sign, cause it has to go to county.
Do you have your original?
You don't want mine, cause I scribbled all that.
Yeah, you,
I'll give you the original.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion that we appoint her as, the deputy for the tax collector for 2022. Anybody have discussion? Do I have a second?
I'll second
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We'll get the copy and sign that one for you. The other one, the
Akato.
ACADO bylaw changes, if you had an opportunity or cared, they were sent to you to review. They don't really affect us since we withdrew ourselves from the group. So I have no problems with whatever the bylaws
So
are.
would it be okay to respond that the board has no objection?
Correct. This week's under that, board has no objections. Fuel prices, I don't have anything in paper here, Wendy's been working on that, Jessica.
Jessica was working on that.
Yeah, Jessica was, we did get, McLaughlin's, got back with us, they're willing to give us a price, for the diesel off-road and on-road. They will not lock in for gas because of the current gas situation, fluctuations. Right now, for, the fuel prices for 2022, we'll have the information for that at the January meeting.
Arrow's currently doing that, right?
Arrow,
sure.
that's what you meant. Arrow's the only one we got back.
McLaughlin.
Everybody else was
Arrow.
on
Oh, I'm
there.
sorry, that's a
Yeah.
McLaughlin, thank you,
Yeah.
it's Arrow, I'm sorry.
McLaughlin's what, propane?
Yes,
Yeah.
propane, yeah.
No, I thought Mason Dixon was. Mason.
Not propane, the Mason Dixon's propane, sorry.
Coming up in the new year.
Yes, they're propane,
Okay,
yes.
Never seen them, yeah.
Yeah, at $1.50, we locked in at $1.50 a gallon for them for the entire season.
Damn, I wish I could get that.
And of course, like I said, we're still trying to work on this thing with Arrow.
So we'll look for more, try to get this back on in January for fuel.
Yes, because Arrow's the only one responded.
Yeah.
Tavis has not responded. They're the ones that last
That we
year
had
dropped.
prior to that.
Yes, they dropped us because we wasn't buying enough fuel from them.
Yeah, nobody else responded, and then I did ask him to confirm the diesel lock-in prices, and he suggested that we adjust all of our gas.
We are gonna adjust the gases to 600, for the off-road, 600 gallons, on-road, 600 gallons. And then for the gas, I believe
We did 2,900, I think we were.
29,
Yeah.
we contracted for 4,000, and we used a little over, 2,700 gallons?
It was, he's estimating like 2,859.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna round it up to 2,900 gallons. Okay, that's where we're at on the fuel pricing there, nothing else on the agenda, so I'm making a motion for, unless you guys have
No, there
something.
is something else, we need to set the meeting dates and times.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
gonna discuss the board meeting start.
Shoot, I don't have in my packet.
We don't have anything in your packet for that.
No, that's a discussion.
All right, well, Jessica, sent out the thing to all of us, I saw it, I did print it off, it's laying on my desk over there, for, the next ensuing year for our meetings to change, to 6 P.M. Is everybody good with 6 P.M.?
I kinda like really late like this.
We didn't ask.
She doesn't count.
That's what-
Wait, I just call for 32.
All right, is 6 o'clock good with the, do you give us 6 o'clock? Do you give us 6 o'clock? You give us 6 o'clock?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Yes, definitely.
Everybody's good at 6 o'clock? Alright, so I'm gonna make a motion at 6 o'clock will be, starting January, 2022 will be our meeting time, so we'll have to advertise that.
I'll put those in there.
And, they have dates
It'll still
already,
be first Tuesday of the month.
first Tuesday of the month,
6 p.m.
at 6 p.m.
And now the board meeting is Monday.
Yeah, the reorg meeting is January 3rd on Monday. Now, originally it was, sounded like we were gonna have some issues, we're trying to get that done. Bobby, now what is the problem, what has changed?
Well, actually, I'm trying to change some dates on a VRBO that my wife and I had scheduled for 2 weeks. I didn't realize it till this afternoon late. I looked up on the whiteboard and went, oh my. So anyhow, as you know, I have some other things I'm gonna miss that day. And, she was gonna she already messaged the person that owns the VRBO to see if we could change the date a couple days later for 2 weeks. So I don't know if she's been successful or not. Would it be possible that I could let you know in the morning?
Yeah, I'd say you can let us know, 'cause
Worst
we-
case scenario, I'll have to do it by phone.
Alright, yeah, because
That'd
we,
be worst case scenario for all of us.
yeah, 'cause we have to, by state second class code, we have to
I
have a
understand
meeting
that.
on that
I'm
date.
aware of that.
So we just have to get the time for it.
Yeah.
Right now, it's thinking for 6 o'clock,
Leave it at 6 o'clock.
Okay, all right.
January 3rd, 6 o'clock.
With the regular meeting immediately
Yeah,
following.
we will do
Yeah.
a meeting after that, and then the, planning board is gonna keep their schedule at 7:30 on the third Tuesday
Third Tuesday.
of each month for the year
As needed.
2022, yes.
As needed, because
As
we
needed.
don't meet every month.
And the,
Board of Auditors,
Board of Auditors on January 4th at 7:30.
no,
correct.
they wanna do 6 o'clock as
They wanna
well.
do 6 o'clock.
They were very happy that we were doing that, they wanted to have a 6 p.m. meeting.
Right, so that's the board's, at the reorg meeting, and then they
So
do
the
the
Board of
meeting.
Auditors, right?
Board of Auditors meeting after that.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
Just wanna vote to do that and then get a second and move on.
We'll make a motion that we accept those times at 6 p.m., first Tuesday of each month, for 2022, January 3rd, will be 6 p.m., for the reorg meeting, regular meeting following immediately thereafter. The auditors meeting is January the 4th at 6 p.m., and the planning board will be the third, Tuesday of each month at 7:30.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Praise the Lord. Okay, now,
I have one more thing. No, seriously, unless Wendy did
No, can't do it.
the,
go ahead.
the starting salary.
We didn't touch that.
Okay.
I didn't, I thought you guys.
No, we don't need to,
You wanna
because
do
we-
that in January?
Well, no, but,
You need a part-time?
well, yeah, but we said, when you and I discussed it, it would be the starting salary for the part-time and any full-timer who wasn't already
It
at.
basically means we have a
We already did
part-time.
that, we made that motion at
You
the,
did not make a motion to increase the current part-timer who is already under $21 an
Well,
hour.
actually, there's two of them, I think, that are under 21.
No.
No,
Okay.
there's just one.
No, just.
Oh, okay,
I
yeah.
thought for sure at the budget meeting we did that.
I don't
How long
know,
has he
that's
worked
not
here?
answered.
12 years.
12 years.
Fourteen.
But how long has he
14.
been drawing a paycheck?
14.
Alright, I thought I did that, but we
Okay, yeah.
retroactive made the motion that the part-timers new set salary for 2022 is $21.
Well, 2022, but not for 2020.
No. 2022.
22.
We'll do that, yeah, then you can do it in
Gotta
January.
get that in the
That's
budget.
fine, that's fine. And we're gonna set it in January
You haven't
anyway,
plugged
when we
in the
announce
budget?
it.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah,
Yes, she got put in the budget, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so we do
And he
that.
only has one more pay period to
Yeah,
that.
I got one more paper.
No, that's fine.
And we
I
will
just-
reset it in January, because we announced it when everybody's paid.
Okay, all right.
We set everybody's paid in January.
Yes, we do. Anything else? Nothing else. Everybody got a clean
Did we
heart?
vote on that?
Everybody's got a clean heart, clean mind.
Yes.
Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Your final act, Bob.
Thank you, Rob, again for your time and your service on the board.
Thank you. I think you're off to a good start this year.
Well, we'll see about
I'm
that.
gonna miss you, miss these things.
You can still come. I
You
know
can still
your
come.
picture then.
Pardon?
Sign this resolution. Where are you, your second? Do you want to do my third
I
hand?
might as well look and see what the resolution.
This is the resolution that we talked about too,
Okay.
going into Hamilton,
Oh, you got something else?
Township, so you're on
Oh,
the
that's
second
for that.
one. Welcome, Brandon, officially, almost, so, yeah.
Hey, everyone have a great Christmas.
Today.
Thank you, have a great Christmas
I
yourself.
thought I forgot to pay you, but I guess you're waiting on that quarterly bill.
Yeah.
You really are.
Is there more?
No, that's a lot. Thank you.
Wendy?
Thank you very much. Happy holidays.
Yeah, have a good Christmas. And a good New Year.
Thank you for all your years of
Well,
service.
thank you, sir. Thank you for joining. Place is better for it.
Wendy?
Hey Bob, are you coming back? This
You mean forever?
No, I see you before the end of the year.
Because I won't be signing anything for about 2 weeks.
I'm doing till the end of the year.
Okay.
This is the
I have a bunch
resolution
of stuff that needs
for.
signed. So,
A whole bunch?
yeah, there's a whole bunch. Anything that doesn't have your name on it. Some of them you might have caught. There's a bunch at the end.
I know, you want to sign it.
You get to sign. This one's fun.
Yeah, I'm driving the snowplow if we get a snowstorm.
Make sure you don't miss anything.
Thank you, that's it? You're done? You're good?
Are these ones I forgot to
Yeah,
do
that,
before?
that one